back to another Yu-Gi-Oh unboxing. Well, I guess this is the first unboxing for Yu-Gi-Oh. The first video that I did was a unboxing of Pokemon cards. So this is going to be my first Yu-Gi-Oh card unboxing. And today we're going to be unboxing, as you can see, the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, trading card game, Egyptian God Deck, Slifer. You see that? Slifer, the Sky Dragon. As you can see, my username is SCYFER, but it's just a happy coincidence as far as how close the names are. Believe me, it was SCYFER. I didn't choose SCYFER because of Yu-Gi-Oh. It was a well, I'll get into another video about how I kind of got my handle in another video, but suffice to say, it doesn't hurt to have one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards be very similar sounding to my most longest used internet handles for a long time. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty nice packaging. It says on the back, Slifer the Sky Dragon, reveal yourself, my all-powerful beast. Slifer the Sky Dragon, whose power grows with each card in your hand, finally has his very own structure deck. This deck includes the new spell card of Thunder Force Attack to destroy your opponent's monsters and draw a card for each monster you destroy, plus other new cards to help you seek out, summon, and protect Slifer, with a strategy that uses your opponent's own monsters as tribute. And the monster cards are Slifer the Sky Dragon, Millennium Seeker, Tellus the Little Angel, Breaker the Magical Warrior, Beast King Barbaros, Nine-Tailed Fox, Phantom Sky Blaster, Guard, Calico Clawcrow, Electromagnetic Turtle, Breaker the Dark Magical Warrior, Scapegoat, which sounds eerily similar to Scapegoat, which is a one of my favorite cards back when I was growing up, because this is half the reason why I bought this structure deck, is because I grew up back when Yu-Gi-Oh had first came out, as well as Pokemon. So I got to see and live through the Pokemon fever of the 1990s, as well as the Yu-Gi-Oh fever of the early 2000s. So with the pandemic and being stuck in quarantine, I figured I would start maybe getting back into old hobbies, things that brought me a lot of joy and happiness and excitement when I was a kid, and trying to maybe recapture some of that magic, I guess, just because we've been living through such a difficult time the last almost getting close to 2 years now, with the global pandemic and everyone being in and out of quarantine, and things shutting down and opening and shutting down and opening, and loved ones passing or getting sick, or people losing their jobs or their homes. It's nice to have something like this to remind us of the good times that we had in our lives. And luckily, I got to live through the exciting times and happy times and fun times of when Yu-Gi-Oh first came out, as well as Pokemon. But I recently got this deck, as well as the Obelisk structure deck. Luckily, it wasn't $2. It wasn't which is what I grew up with. And naturally, if you are a late-aged millennial or an old boomer like me, you naturally get very sucked in as far as nostalgia and going down memory lane and remembering all the good times you had growing up, going into 7-Eleven or Walmart or wherever and buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards as a kid and being excited about what you can get and trying to get the coolest card that you saw in the anime and trying to beat all your friends on the schoolyard with it. So, without any further ado, we're going to get into unboxing it, and always make sure you have your handy dandy X-Acto knife. And I want to try to preserve this box as best as I can, just as far as maybe a display or something, just because when I was a kid, I wasn't smart enough to realize that maybe I should, in the future, just in case, try to preserve the box as best I can, and maybe preserve the cards as best I can. So, luckily there's a lot of these, like it just came out, or recently came out, so luckily there's a lot of them. You can go into almost any Walmart or local game shop, and you shouldn't have that hard of a time finding them. But even still, I'd like to try to be relatively careful with opening this, as well as wanting to make it not too loud on your ears. So, I figured maybe I could try opening it on the top, but then I realized that the top is kind of very difficult to get out, so I figured the cleanest way is maybe going through the back door, which, yeah, I don't know, that might be a little bit PG-13, but, yeah, so, if we can shimmy this. There we go, that sounded relatively clean. I don't want to ruin the box as best I can. And worst case scenario, I can at least use this as a nice display box and maybe get a cheap little frame at like a dollar store and just hang it up my wall or something. I don't know. Just because the Egyptian god cards were always very cool. And that's right around the time that I actually started getting out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because I think at that point I was getting into my teenage years and collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards wasn't really the cool thing to do. Nowadays, you're starting to see a resurgence of people getting back into it, and it's nice to see because for a long time, the only people that were kind of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! After the mid-2000s, after the original anime was sort of done, and started going down all the spin-offs, it wasn't really that cool to be into Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially for people my age. By that time we were in high school, and as a high schooler, you don't really want to be collecting trading card games. That's wasn't very cool, and the ladies didn't think that was very cool. You were kind of looked as like a weirdo for collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards when the main things that you wanted to do in high school was have a fast car and go to parties and meet people and have fun. Doing that wasn't collecting trading cards wasn't really the cool thing to do by that point. But luckily, nerd culture and being a nerd and being into hobbies like collecting trading cards and collectible vinyl toys or art toys or sneakers and comics and other sort of very socially acceptable. And I mean, I've seen and met many jock type people that are very sporty and buff and kind of will look like a really manly dude. Play stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering or collect Pokemon cards or play mini wargaming games like Warhammer 40k or Bolt Action and other nerdy things like that. So it's very refreshing and nice to see that you're not socially ostracized if you're a nerd anymore, which is kind of neat. But anyways, back to our unboxing. Luckily, we got it open, sort of clean. I think maybe I might go and pick up another pack, just hold on to and maybe keep and just have as like a nice little collector thing, just because this is, I think, the first time ever that an Egyptian god card had its own structure deck, its own little starter deck, which is pretty cool. And even just the art alone is very neat. So luckily that's going to be pretty well preserved. And maybe we can put that over here maybe. So now that we got it open, let's see what we got. So we got our playmat. Oh man, that's something I really missed too, is getting the original Yu-Gi-Oh starter deck, Yuki, Kaiba, Joey, and Pegasus playmats. They were all really, or decks I guess, and getting the playmats were really cool. So, whoa, this is the, I guess, playmat, and it comes with kind of a little guide as far as how to play and some cards and things to maybe possibly collect or add on. Power up with packs. Make your structure deck more powerful by adding cards from booster packs and other items sold separately. Yu-Gi-Oh! King's Court. Yu-Gi-Oh! Maximum Gold. Like the Egyptian god cards, the Monarch monsters are a powerful deck theme that relies on tribute summon monsters instead of the extra deck. Some of their cards can be useful here, like the domain of true monarchs, which prevents your opponent from using extra deck and pumps up your tribute summoned monsters in battle. You can find this and other useful cards in Maximum Gold. And then we have the Yugioh Legendary Duelist's Rage of Ra. Using the Winged Dragon of Ra requires strategies similar to those of Slifer and Obelisk, and you can find many of those cards in Legendary Duelist Rage of Ra packs. Look for Mound of the Bound Creator, which protects level 10 monsters from harm and lets you add a divine monster from your deck to your hand. And then it just shows tribute tokens to summon. Generate token monsters with your cards. Then tribute 3 tokens to summon Slifer the Sky Dragon. A dark strategy. Tribute their monsters, not yours. Plus tribute a monster to draw 1 card. Powerful new spell cards use the awesome power of the Egyptian god cards attack moves. Thunder Force attack and Fist of Fate. Destroy all enemy monsters and draw 1 card for each one. And stop your opponent's monster effects and destroy their spell and traps. And then some other suggestions on how to play this deck. Like, seek your Egyptian god card. Remember the card you put on top. Add your god card to your hand. Name the top card and get your Egyptian god. Oh, that seems pretty cool. So yeah, just essentially some basic strategies on how to use this deck. Grab monsters straight from your deck, then tribute 3 to summon Obelisk the Tormentor. Gizmecs are easy to summon have amazing powers and can get obelisk for you. And then there's more power-up packs like Legendary Duelist Season 2, which I'm kind of interested in just because it's, again, the original anime that I grew up with. King's Court, which seems to be kind of one of the more popular ones. And then the 2020 Tin of Lost Memories. So that is the back of the duel mat. And then here is the front of the duel mat. Gonna zoom out there. Also, yeah, I'm using a jar of peanut butter as a stand for one of my ring lights just because I don't have any boxes or books around. So forgive me. That is the life of a budget ASMR creator. But as you can see, this is a pretty cool looking playmat. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just wish that it wasn't really paper, or I guess you could just like glue it onto a thing of like sturdy cardboard and kind of make a nice playmat out of it, or maybe hang it up on your wall. Just because it's so cool and the artwork's pretty nice. But yeah, let's go back. There we go. So that's the playmat. There we go. Put that back on top there. Or maybe on the side. Okay, now here we go. The piece de resistance. Oh wow, holy cripe. Now this was a card that I had wanted for so long as a kid because it was pretty easy to get Blue Eyes, it was pretty easy to get Dark Magician, it was pretty easy to get Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and Relinquished, and all the other cards that you saw in the original anime. But one of the harder cards to get, which I don't even know if it was even out yet, or if it was extremely rare, and I don't even know if you can even use it, were the God cards. And back when this came, I think, if I remember correctly, I think I would have been in like grade 6 or 7. I think it was like grade 6 or 7 or something. I think somewhere around there. I remember that there was a time where people were trying to. Now, granted, most of us were casual players. There wasn't really much of a meta game. It was right around the time the God cards had came out. There was just starting to get a little bit of a meta game going on, where you definitely had to figure out what kind of good cards you want to make out of a deck and counters and things. But I remember people really wanting the Egyptian God cards so badly, but they were impossible to get. And I remember people would take crappy, like old crappy common Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then go to their printer and print out a really crappy JPEG of Slifer or Obelisk or Winged Dragon of Ra, and they would literally glue it on and try to like match up the borders and glow it up, or I think just take the front of the card and just glue it onto a crappy card to make it look like they had one. Now granted, we were all stupid kids and like we knew it was fake, but it was nice to just pretend that we had these cards, or try just having like ultra casual duels just to see what it's like to try to use it in a game. But in any other like real game, or if it was any sort of like competitive casual game, obviously you're not allowed to, we wouldn't, as like school rules and most people would rules, we were like, no, you can't use a fake card like that. It's one thing to have in your collection just to feel like you have it, but it's another thing to try to act like you have these cards that didn't really exist at the time, and they were impossible to get. So if you actually had a real duel, you weren't using that. And very luckily, very few people actually made handmade fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but there were a few that did, and rightfully, most of us would kind of gang up on them and argue and say, hey, you can't use that card, and it's obviously fake. But there would be times where we'd be curious and want to see what it's like to actually try to use it in a real duel, and sometimes we just have fantasy duels and see what it's like. But so yeah, this is definitely a very very cool moment for me to actually finally have this card that I've wanted for so long. And yeah, so it means a lot to me. My favorite cards actually, everyone from my generation that grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Naturally, everyone has the same favorite cards. It's usually Blue Eyes or Dark Magician, and then the God cards. But strangely enough, my favorite cards were Joey's cards. I loved Black Dragon, or Red Eyes Black Dragon, and I loved Flame Swordsman, and Time Wizard, and all of these other cards. And Joey's deck probably had some of my most favorite cards ever, as well as Pegasus. I loved the Toon Monsters and Relinquished. And, obviously I like and love the original Blue Eyes and Dark Magician, but I mean, everyone liked that, so it was really nice to, have something different, and yeah, I don't know, that's something I really wish that they made more of. I really wish that they'd make more, like a Pegasus Reloaded, or a Joey Reloaded, or some sort of modern reimagining of Joey's deck and Pegasus's deck, just because I feel like they got so little love. So here we are opening it. Oh, this is so cool. Oh my god. So I don't even want to touch the hollow just because this is like unreal for me. So we got Slifer the Sky Dragon. Divine Beast effect requires 3 tributes to normal summon. Cannot be normal set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated. When normal summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. It gains 1000 attack and defense for each card in your hand. Holy moly. If a monster or monsters is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field in attack position, that monster loses 2000 attack. Then, if its attack has been reduced to 0 as a result, destroy it. Attack unknown, defense unknown. First, look at that. First edition. That's something I haven't been able to experience in a long time, is getting an original anime Yu-Gi-Oh! First edition card right when it was released. The last time I actually got a first edition that was not a reprint or anything was literally back in like 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yeah, it's really neat to have a first edition COD card that you can actually play with, because that was another thing too, is a lot of these COD cards that would come in these collector boxes in the last maybe 5 or 8 years or so. It seemed like most of them you can't actually play with, but these are meant to be played with. And look at that holographic right on the green. Oh, it's so cool. I always loved Slifer. Slifer always looked really cool, and I liked Obelisk because he always looked so menacing and eerily creepy, but he was also very powerful. So just on a pragmatic, part that was really cool. I really liked Obelisk a lot. And then we got Soul Crossing. And I think, yeah, that's a holo too. So I don't know, just because it might take a long time to get through the video, I'm not sure about reading all the descriptions of the cards. But we have Soul Crossing. During the main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, tribute, summon one divine beast monster. When you do, you contribute a monster your opponent controls, even though you cannot control them. But if you tribute summon this way, apply this effect. Until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you can only activate one card or effect per turn, not counting the effects of divine beast monsters. You can only activate one Soul Crossing per turn. Look at that, so shiny. And then just to show, right up, there we go. Oh, isn't that cool? That is just so cool. I love that card. I can't wait to play this card and have some casual duels with friends or at the local game shop. When things get a little bit more safe, of course. Now we have Thunder Force Attack, which is another holographic one. Again, since I've been out of Yu-Gi-Oh! For like 15 years or more, I forget the different classifications of rare, but I think this is like a secret rare, I think, and then you have your ultra rares, or no, I don't know. Obviously, if you, any of you people watching that play Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately, can help clarify the differences between the different rarities as far as how it looks. Just tell me in the comments, just to remind me, just because I hear things like secret rare, ultra rare, things like that, holo rare, and all these other different rarities, and it's hard for me to kind of remember exactly the differences, but I know that there's cards that won't really have any holo, but they'll have the gold lettering. Luckily, this one seems to have holographic parts of it too, so that's pretty neat. I think after, so just the next, so these, I'll read the descriptions of the rare cards, and then after that I'll just do the names of the normal. So for Thunder Force Attack, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. If you control a monster whose original name is Slifer the Sky Dragon, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then, if you activated this card during your main phase, you can apply the following effect. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters destroyed by the effect and sent to your opponent's graveyard. Also, you can only attack with one monster this turn. You can only activate one Thunder Force attack per turn. That's a really cool card. So, here I'm going to try to organize these because I want to try to keep them in relative. I want to keep the rare ones really nice. And then we have Millennium Seeker. Look at that, that's a really nice card. Spellcaster effect with attack of 1000 and defense of 1000. When you take 1000 or more battle or effect damage, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard except a monster with unknown attack. Your opponent can choose one monster from their deck except a monster with unknown attack. If they choose not to, or if the target monster has a higher attack than the chosen monster, special summon the targeted monster to your field. And if you do, shuffle the chosen monster back into the deck. Otherwise, your opponent adds the chosen monster to the hand. You can only use each effect of Millennium Seeker once per turn. And then I think that's the end. Oh no, I think Ultra Divine Beast, and then that's the end of the... Oh wow, how many... Oh, Ultra Divine Beast. I like the artwork on this a lot. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard one spell or trap. Then target one Divine Beast monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. Then change the attack target to it. During the end phase, if you control a Divine Beast monster, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls that activated their effects on the field this turn. You can only use each effect of Ultimate Divine Beast once per turn. So you can see that one has a little bit of a holographic effect to it. That's kind of neat. Oh man. Okay, there we go. And then the rest are normal. Okay, so after these three cards, I'll just go through the names just because these are holographics. Tell us the little angel. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can special summon one Tellus Wing token. While you control a Tellus Wing token, you can banish this card from your graveyard and one spell from your hand. Special summon two Tellus Wing tokens. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except for your hand. You can only use each effect of Tellus the Angel once per turn, and it has an attack of 500 and defense of 500. And it's a level 3. So that's pretty cool. And then we have Reactor Slime. Oh, come on, there we go. So yeah, that one's kind of shiny. And it's an aqua and effect. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Special summon 2 slime tokens. Also, you cannot normal or special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Divine Beast monsters. During the battle phase, quick effect, you contribute this card. Set 1 metal reflect slime from your hand, deck, or graveyard. It can be activated this turn. You can only use each effect of Reactor Slime once per turn. Ooh, so shiny. Don't you? I just love it. And I love how cute the little slimes are. So cool. And then the last holographic card, and then we can just start going through the cards, are Harpy's Feather Duster. Come on. There we go. Actually, oh, this one's very, very slightly holographic. Just slightly. Oh, come on. There we go. And, there we go. It destroys all spells and traps your opponent controls, which is very handy. Very handy indeed. I think if you had maybe 3 of these in your deck, that would be very handy for sure. This would always come in handy. Now we can get to the normal cards and see what we got. Alrighty, so we have Breaker the Magical Warrior. He looks really cool. Beast King Barbaros. That looks pretty cool. It's like a centaur of like a lion with like a lance and a shield. That's pretty cool. With an attack of 3,000, which is pretty good. But he's like a level 1, 2, 4, 6, like a level 8, so that's pretty high. Nine-tailed Fox. Phantom Sky Blaster. Come on. That's actually a pretty cool monster. I wouldn't mind drawing him or using that for sticker character or something. He looks really cool. Card Guard, which kind of looks like a metal robotic manta ray thing. His eye looks really spoopy. Very spoopy indeed. Calico Clawgrow. Now that is a tongue twister if I've ever heard. Here, let's see. Okay, Calico Clawgrow, Calico Clawgrow, Calico Clawgrow, Calico Clawgrow. Electromagnetic Turtle. Not bad for a 4-star card. It has 18 defense, and during your opponent's battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. And the battle phase, you can only use this effect once per duel. Breaker, the Dark Magical Warrior. Now that is a very cool looking card. It kind of reminds me of like Dark Paladin or something like that, like a mixture of Dark Magician and like Blackluster Soldier or something. It's a very cool looking card. That's a card that I would definitely use for some graffiti stickers or graffiti black book sketch characters or something. Very cool. And then, sorry about that. And then we have Scapegoat. That's eerily reminiscent of Scapegoat, which that's what I grew up with. So that's really cool. Now I don't even know how to pronounce this. Arema, the Wicked Warden. That's kind of cool looking. And we have 2 of them. 3 of them. Man, they really want you to have this in your deck. You can discard this card, add 1 layer of darkness from your deck to your hand. You contribute 1 dark monster, draw 1 card, or if you tributed a dark monster other than this card to activate this effect, you can add 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand instead. You can only use this effect once per turn. So that's why they give you 3. Duke Shade, the Sinister Shadow Lord. Now that's kind of cool. I don't really like his face, but everything else looks pretty cool. I wish they made him look a little bit more sinister. This looks very, I don't know, it looks a little bit too enemy-ish instead of demonic. It kind of reminds me of a male version of the evil witch from Maleficent, or whatever that was, that Angelina Jolie plays. Kind of reminds me of that. Clock Wyvern. That's kind of cool, actually. Tenyai Spirit Vishuddha. That's pretty cool. Oh, Swords of Revealing Light. Now that brings me back to the good old classic days of Yugi and Kaiba. And Monster Reborn. Oh my god. Now that really brings me back. I've actually, since I've been locked up, we've all been locked up in quarantine, and the local game shops have been open and not open, and open and not open, and with me having not the greatest immune system, I've been trying to get my Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling fix through Duel Links and playing the old video games for like Dark Duel Stories for the Game Boy Color, and Forgotten Memories for the PlayStation, and I recently just got the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game on Steam, Legacy of the Duelist, I think. I got the first one and the sequel that just recently came out, and I've been having a lot of fun playing the video games. I did realize that it's very different playing the like classic video games versus the modern, because the classic video games is pretty much just like very rarely will you pull a monster or have a monster on the field that has an attack power of like more than 1,000. You're usually playing with a lot of crappy common cards that have like anywhere between an attack power of 300 to 600 or 700. So that's kind of what I miss, and it was very basic, almost a little bit too basic. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more depth to it, but also have to remember they were trying to port a complex card game into a literal Game Boy or Game Boy Color, and it wasn't until I think the Game Boy Advance games that you started to see a little bit more strategy and a little bit more thinking involved in your cards as far as the games were concerned. But we have Book of Moon. The enemy controller, which is extraordinarily common. Like, it's in this card is in almost every Kaiba deck or structure deck or booster box or anything like that. It seems to be a very common card for Kaiba. Pot of Varus. Target 5 monsters in your graveyard. Shuffle all 5 into the deck. And then draw 2 cards. That's actually not bad. March of Monarchs. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. And we have Supply Squad. Once per turn, if a monster you control is destroyed by battle or a card effect, draw 1 card. Now that seems very useful. Very, very useful. Card Advance. The True Name. One-time passcode. Ooh, that's a cool looking card. Very spoopy. Layer of Darkness, which I would think I remember one of the other cards was mentioning. Look at how cool and spoopy these little ghosties are. Very cool. That would make a great background since I do graffiti art. I like making graffiti stickers and slabs and graffiti black book or sketches, and sometimes graffiti spray painting murals. Since I'm older now, I usually do it, with permission, of course, just because I'm definitely too old to be going around risking my freedom and liberty, going around, running around, and doing things like that. But yeah, now I usually like to do that, and that's another hobby that I got back into through the pandemic, was getting back into graffiti art and street art, which most graffiti artists kind of despise. I'm not really a street artist, but that's kind of the, if you're trying to explain it to kind of non-graffiti people, it's usually an easy way to kind of mention it or talk about it, and then they can kind of they know what you're talking about. But I love graffiti art. I love letters. I love calligraphy. I love calligraphy. I love bending letters and shaping letters and styling them and adding characters. And I think that's something, another video, ASMR video I'd like to do is maybe do a ASMR video of me doing a graffiti, making some graffiti stickers with characters and coloring them, and you can hear me using my markers and whatnot, coloring them and shading them and making some cool graffiti art. And we have the classical Mirror Force. We have Reckless Greed. That's pretty cool. Metal Reflect Slime. The Golden Apples. And Back to the Front. Since this is the last card, let's read it. Target 1 monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. That's pretty cool, actually. So it's an easy way to get a dead monster back onto the field. And if they get killed, then you don't get any damage to your life points, which is pretty nice. So yeah, that was the. Here, let's see if we can get them all organized into a nice little. Put these on top of here. Put these on top of there. Be very careful with the Slifer. was the Yugioh trading card game Egyptian God deck. Put that back together. Slifer, the Sky Dragon. I would have been so happy and ecstatic if something like this came out when I was still into Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid in the mid-2000s, because like I said, everyone wanted the God cards, but honestly, I don't even think they were even available, and if they were ultra ridiculously rare, and typically, since we lived in such a small town, our local Walmart or 7-Eleven or, a small little game shop wasn't going to carry it. At that point in time, I think very few people had the card, and I think only maybe Japanese shops had them, or tournament players or something like that could get it. It was extraordinarily rare, if I remember correctly, if it was even available at all. And if it was, I think it was just like a lot of the other, the old versions of them, where you couldn't even use them in tournament plays because they were so overpowered. You couldn't use them because it was just too powerful. So yeah, thanks for taking a trip down memory lane. This was very exciting, and the next structure deck that I have is the Obelisk deck, and I think in maybe next week or in a couple weeks I'd like to do a unboxing of that, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. I do realize that I kind of have a tendency to ramble in the beginning, so I know a lot of you that might want to just get to the cards. Might have to sit through a good 15 minutes of me kind of ranting about my nostalgia and childhood and all the fun memories I had about all these great hobbies and things I enjoyed when I was a kid, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and graffiti art and skateboarding and whatnot. And, I think it's a good way to kind of get to know me a little bit. But at the same time, I don't want to be having you guys stare at, the one plain box for 15 minutes when some of you guys might just want me to go through the cards and kind of be done with it. But I figured since this is the kind of beginning of my channel, it kind of made sense to kind of talk about and kind of, give you a better idea of who I am and what kind of things and interests I'm into and things that I've experienced, and kind of get you, give you a little bit better of an idea of, who I am and what this channel is about, and what I'm into. And sometimes I have some quirky little stories or experiences, and sometimes not. But I think it's good just for therapeutic reasons to kind of just have like a little few moments to kind of just talk about my life when, unfortunately, I don't really have that many people to talk to and to kind of, tell people all these quirky or funny or exciting or stupid stories about my life too. So, in a weird way, you guys watching, you guys are kind of like my YouTube friends. You guys are the people that kind of get to know me more than most people do. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the unboxing, and hopefully you got to enjoy the cool, awesome, mega, ridiculous, awesome, super califragilistic awesomeness of Slifer, the Sky Dragon, which is a card that I would have just killed for when I was a kid. And I'm very glad and happy that I have it now as an adult. And not only that, it's a first edition, so I'm definitely going to be sleeving that and try to find a nice card protector for that, and then maybe get another 2 packs of these, so that way I could use them as displays, or just have them in nice collected, make it nice and collected or sealed or displayed, and I can use these as my gaming or dueling cards, just because how often do you get a first edition Slifer the Sky Dragon? It's not that often. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of tingles, or at the very least were lulled you're still awake or you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, just remember to leave a like and subscribe. Just because since I'm such a small channel, it really, really, really helps. And it lets me know that you guys are enjoying the content that I'm making, and in turn it makes me kind of more motivated to make more videos for you guys, just because I don't think there's too many ASMR channels that do Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon unboxings and whatnot. I know that there's a few, but they're usually from the very established and very popular ASMR videos, or ASMR artists in the community, and there isn't really too many others besides the very, very popular ones, which in the ASMR community there isn't. It's not a very big community, so you might only have maybe 5 or 6 big ASMR artists that occasionally do unboxings and nerdy ASMR. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and feel free to give a like and a subscribe. But if you don't feel pressured. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine, and I get it. But at the same time too, it definitely helps me a lot, and I'd be forever grateful for your kindness in helping me grow and helping us grow as a community, and having more videos of nerdy ASMR, doing stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh unboxings or Pokemon unboxings, or doing art ASMR where I get to do graffiti stickers or graffiti sketches with characters that you guys can recommend, or put in the comments what you guys might want me to draw, and and other things like that. So yeah, feel free to hop in the comments and tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you guys think I might maybe need to work on, or what you guys would like to see in the future. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed our little time together and our Egyptian god deck. And I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Love you guys. Peace. And remember, you're not alone. And I know this is a hard time right now in our world, but you have people that care about you, even if it's just me in a YouTube video trying to make you feel a little bit less lonely or relaxed, or even just entertained for a little while, so you can get through this. And the cliche is, tomorrow's another day. You always get to, luckily, you usually have tomorrow as a reset. So anything that bad or was sad that happened today, you can hopefully have a reset of tomorrow and get to hopefully have a shot of having a good day tomorrow. So hopefully this video helped relax you and entertain you, or made you just roll your eyes. But it was very enjoyable and exciting because that awesome Slifer, the Sky Dragon. Alright, love you guys, and take care.